To discuss this, we're now joined by Moshe Katri, Managing Director, Investment Banking at Wedbush Securities. Moshe, the big question is, the asset is great. It positions Coforge in the big AI league, revenues of $2.5 billion. The management confident that it will not be EPS dilutive. But is the acquisition expensive to your mind? How have you analyzed it?
So good to be here. I would say a couple of things. You will see premium multiples for companies that are operating in high growth areas, whether it's product development, R&D, Gen AI-enabled, tech-enabled services. And this one is actually definitely getting that premium multiple, 20-plus times EV to EBITDA. You're paying here for growth, north of 20%. You're paying here for high teens EBITDA margins. And obviously, they're telling you that it's not going to be dilutive for their own business. See, the real test is going to be down the road in terms of where the model goes. From our perspective, if you really want to compete in the new Gen AI world, if you will, you have to do two things. You will have to focus more on performance-based contracts. That's how you get paid. And then the other thing you want to do is you want to show this decoupling between headcount and revenue growth. That's going to be the real test for a lot of companies that want to survive this new era. And at this point, only time will tell if this is going to be the right acquisition for Coforge. Encora is a good company. They have good metrics. As I said, the growth looks good. EBITDA margins look pretty good. But ultimately, the model is going to have to adjust for this new era. And that's going to take some time to get there.
Moshe, hi, morning. So exactly on that, let's understand Encora a bit more, because Coforge told us that it's an AI native company, and you said that it comes with the promise of 20% year-on-year growth. So what is the opportunity to scale up for Encora, their client base, the way they've adopted their AI models? Can you tell us more about Encora?
Well, the AI model, as I said, is going to have to really kind of reinvent the traditional model in tech-enabled services. And, the way I see it, I'm just not sure that this is where Encora is. The true Gen AI model is going to be reflected in companies such as Fractal, Trident. These are companies that focus specifically on Gen AI. I think Encora has AI expertise or Gen AI expertise, but that's probably among other things that they do. So this
it's not ground up
is
AI.
Not exactly a pure Gen AI business, the way I see it.
So you're not convinced that this...
It's not exactly a...
So you're not convinced that this perhaps is the best acquisition for Coforge?
Look, I think for the true Gen AI companies, you probably have to pay a much higher multiple than what they paid for this one. So I think they, for what they were willing to pay, they probably got a pretty decent deal.
So Moshe, just to kind of digress a little bit, there are large Indian IT services companies that have been kind of called out for being not aggressive enough, and they're not making acquisitions. And the point that comes up is exactly what you said, that true, ground-up AI companies are simply too expensive to buy. And therefore, I think a lot of these companies, TCS, Infosys included, they're trying to embed AI in all of their service offerings. So that's one approach that the big boys are taking, the Indian IT services companies. And then there is the second approach, which a mid-sized company like Coforge is taking, of buying tier 2, tier 3, AI derivative companies, which, according to you, will be proven perhaps a better approach?
So I think the tier 1 offshore companies that are repositioning themselves for this.
Okay, I think we've just lost our line with Moshe. Not too lucky with the lines today. Apologies for that to our viewers. We'll try and see if we can get him back. And Rima, that's what I've been thinking, because as someone who's not that close to the IT universe as Rima and the entire analyst community, I mean, you sit outside and you really wonder if, yes, AI is the holy grail, But what kind of AI company are you really trying to be? What is the route you're taking? And Moshe sounded a bit doubtful about whether this entity is really native AI, ground up AI,
I guess what Moshe was trying to say is that maybe there are three levels. One, you're willing to pay top-notch, very high valuation.
By OpenAI, which you can't.
For a Gen AI native company. Yeah. Second one is that companies which give you scale are present in AI, but then you're getting them a little cheaper than the tier one. Yeah. And tier three is inaction. And I guess, coforge...
That's not an option, I guess.
That's not an option, right?
Option 3 is not an option.
That's not an option because sometimes action is better than inaction, right?
Yeah,
a bold calculated. Now it's up to Coforge to execute on it. It will require flawless execution, but I guess that's the point, Moshe.
We have to see. Yeah, we've got Moshe back. Moshe, so that was the question. Which approach do you think sounds most optimal right now? The one that the large IT services companies in India are taking? Or the approach, say, that a Coforge has taken, that you can't go buy top dollar AI companies, so we'll buy the next best thing and try to build scale?
So I do like what the traditional companies are doing right now, just because they have a lot of expertise in the integration side of the business and on the data management and side of the business. This is really the infrastructure piece of Gen AI, and this could scale and become very large for these companies. Look, I think there's going to be a lot of need for what they have, and especially when some of those Gen AI projects start scaling. If you step back 10 years ago, there was a lot of debate around the cloud, and there was a lot of concern that cloud essentially is going to cannibalize consulting revenues and a lot of work that around, integrate a lot of work around software development or customer software development. And in fact, cloud ultimately created a very large integration cycle for the space. And the way we see it, Gen AI is going to do the same thing for the space. And I think the tier one offshore companies are getting ready for that. And in our view, they're in great, the way I see it, they're in great shape to benefit from the cycle once it starts kind of scaling. Mm-hmm. So there are all kind of different ways to approach Gen AI. Coforge is doing it a different way a bit. But the way I see it, the tier ones are in great shape to benefit from that cycle once it starts really scaling.
Okay. So which Indian IT stocks would you buy now, if any?
I think the tier ones are in great shape. Infosys, TCS, Cognizant, the way we see it. If you look at some of the digital IT services companies, Globant, EPAM, they're also in great shape. And then you have some of the others that are kind of focusing predominantly.
Okay. All right, Moshe, we'll leave it on that note. And in case if you can hear our season's greetings, wish you a very, very happy new year. May you have a great 2026, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you for joining us on the call today. That is Coforge, Moshe, leading a little more towards traditional IT services companies, saying that we need to see.
I don't think he has active coverage on Coforge.
Yeah. So I guess we need to see how the assimilation happens, how the integration happens. And
for now, there are shots in the system, stock had declined, and you will see some sort of a recovery. But medium term depends on the company executing.
Okay, definitely a stock in focus, and in pre-open, up about 2.5%. Okay.